I am a very anxious person. If you've ever heard the saying FOMO, meaning fear of missing out, that's something I suffer from severely. Many games capitalize on that feeling from gamers with limited time events or time limited shops. Christmas and Halloween, let's just say, are very busy times for me in terms of gaming content, but it also applies to what I spoke of in my last video. It's not just what developers intended. I want to talk about that feeling, share some stories, and I hope, generally, make an interesting video. By the way, thank you so much for all the views and especially the comments on my last video and almost getting me to 100 subscribers. I really appreciate it, and it has motivated me to make this video, so thank you so much. A core mechanic of MMOs, or a lot of games in general, is limited time events. The big one is Christmas, but Overwatch has its own annual event known as Archives that doesn't have a real-world tie-in. Many games make these events 2 or 3 week long things, with most of the time only cosmetic rewards up for grabs. RuneScape party hats are a great example of a good way to do limited time events. This reward was exclusive to a 2013 event, but they have become a modern icon of RuneScape due to their relative rarity and customizability. Thankfully, you can buy these items off the Grand Exchange, and they're relatively affordable in terms of in-game currency, but let's look at Overwatch, which doesn't have an in-game market, given its genre. Many of the highly coveted Overwatch skins are the Battle Pass skins, which are time limited. This leads to players playing simply to earn rare items rather than to get better at the game, which Jeff Kaplan in the past has said that it was a bad thing, at least in regards to golden weapons, which are, to be fair, a very similar story when compared to mythical skins. It's a lose-lose situation, since it's likely to cause player burnout, which leads to toxicity, and the developers only can make so much money off of this item. It preys on FOMO in a malicious way, but even a battle pass system can work. Halo, Deep Rock, and Dead by Daylight have selectable battle passes, or rifts, where the player can work towards any season they want. That way, the player still has a goal, but isn't stressing about time limits and said goal. But the caught up players still want to accomplish the most recent battle pass, since that's where the relatively rare cosmetics will be coming from. This, naturally, is a way less stressful environment, and doesn't have downsides from a developer perspective, depending on the way it's implemented. You can either make the content free if that's how you always intended it, or you can add in-game currency, where the player can choose which battle pass to buy with this currency. I've never really been the type of player to get cosmetic items via purchasing them with in-game currency. I did get the Bloodstained sack and the 80s suitcase back when Dead by Daylight was new, or a stray skin here or there, but it's never been a big thing for me. But earning limited time cosmetics at the time of doing whatever is asked of me always has me very stressed out. I actually dread booting up some games because of this, but after the event is over, I rarely find myself regretting not earning the item or being very proud of earning it. It's just some irrational, primal fear that games seemingly knowingly exploit. I moved recently, and I had to sort through a lot of my stuff. I was moving into a much smaller place, so I was conscious of unnecessary stuff. I naturally got rid of some stuff easily, but I found myself really attached to my old consoles. Stuff that I used recently, of course, is very reasonable, my Wii U being something I used almost daily, but when I first got it, I didn't really use my PlayStation 3 a huge amount, and I haven't since. But I didn't hesitate to pack it away. Looking back on my reasoning for keeping it, it wasn't me cherishing an old toy, so to speak. It was me fearing that I would regret letting it go. Let's be honest, emulation is a very prominent industry. If I really wanted to play a PlayStation 3 game, it's either been re-released on Steam, remade, or there's a ROM for it. I have no reason for a PlayStation 3, but what if I do actually fall in love with God of War? Or I want to play through Ratchet and Clank, or there's a mainline Spyro game that I missed. Best to let it take up a little bit of my precious storage space. I rarely have issue with throwing out stuff that contains memories. I can keep those in my head, no issue. I'm not gonna miss out. I'm not a hoarder. I throw out clothes, I throw out old toys. I only bought 5 plastic storage containers and a small bookshelf, which is not a lot of worldly possessions. They barely fill a small car, but many of those possessions are still in my possession, not because I want them, but because I'm afraid of losing them. Maybe this is an issue for only me. Maybe I'm just a digital and tech hoarder, but every now and then I will be glad that I kept something years after I thought it was relevant, like my PlayStation 2 or 3DS, and I'm willing to bet that if you're older than 20, you still have your Xbox, Wii, or PlayStation. Whatever childhood console had a chokehold on you, and I'm willing to bet that you haven't used it in a very long time. In fact, are you sure that it even still works? Gaming, at the end of the day, for me, is a very social hobby. Even if a game isn't directly multiplayer, chances are I engage with it for one of two reasons. Because I want to know what's happening in that series, or because I have a commitment to that series already, both of which are driven by the community around that game, or because I played it as a kid, since it was given to me by my brother. Metal Gear is a game I picked up because the community seemed comedically insane from the outside looking in, and I can confirm that they are insane, but it's not really their fault. Even more, solo games like Black Ops Zombies, which isn't solo, but I mostly play it solo, are in part a way for me to boast to people that I'm good at it, which is what I think drives me to fear this missing out, since I'm the kind of person who falls under this social pressure. I think that's a big part of my last video too. I'm afraid of looking bad in front of others. I'm afraid of not being caught up. I'm afraid of being indifferent. I don't want to miss these experiences because I cared too late in my life. In my day-to-day life, I experience this. I regularly regret not choosing and being indifferent. So maybe all of this is a way for me to hold on to that and not risk regretting something. Regardless, I feel this is the heart of FOMO. We as humans desire to fit in. We want to look cool. We want to have companionship, you know? That's why games prey on this feeling, because most humans experience them in some way or another. I don't think it's necessarily malicious. It's not always a bad thing, but some games do clearly push this feeling more than others. Games like Fortnite or Overwatch, where skins are rare and coveted and the player base cares about the skins, they feel blatantly predatory. I know that others don't experience this feeling as strongly as me, but FOMO is a documented phenomenon for a reason. It's really common, and I'm not the only one that does experience it. I regularly feel like I've missed the boat. I feel like I will regret not doing something, or like I've missed an opportunity, but that opportunity is rarely actually gone. I suffer anxiety that I'm too late, that I've missed some vital chance, some opportune window, but when I actually approach that original thing, it rarely matters. And if it does matter, it's probably not fully gone. As an aside, your anxiety is rarely correct. You don't need to get all these virtual items. Please, from me, play these games because you enjoy them or because you want to get better, not because you're afraid of not playing them. And that's what I hope I'm going to try and do from now on. Look, this video has kind of been a mess, but I hope I shared some ideas that resonated with you. I intend on creating more videos if you would like a more analytical style rather than hearing more about me personally. Please let me know. I'll try and read and respond to as many comments as I can whenever I can. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video.